just do one or two quick reflections and then do book reading and then get back to it. So very quickly, I'm sharing the screen. Let's get going. Good morning, everybody. Jai Hind. What do we want to? So what do we have here? Okay, is Srishti here? Is Srishti Prasad here? No? Somebody else like to read? Anybody else? Ananya, you want to read? Okay. Read Srishti's post, please. We can't hear you if you're speaking.
No, they are not speaking. They just raised. So Soumya and Ananya. Soumya, you can start.
Okay, ma'am. Uh, ma'am, just slide it
Okay,
on.
okay. I moved it down. Hang on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Today we learned about the foundation of effective communication in the Yes workshop by Kartik sir. I learned about the importance of maintaining humility and sensitivity to become a better speaker. Other than this, being alert to factors like positive body language, eye contact, and smiling makes us connected better with our audience. Then, in the chapter Artificial Environment, we learned how urban spaces can actually contribute to preserving animals, especially the endangered ones. I learned about the agrarian deserts,
Agrarian.
which changed my idea about deserts being arid regions and lacking trees. Shishti Prasad, 7, Sunbeam Bhagwanpur.
Thank you. Yeah. So it's good
Thank you,
to
sir.
reflect a little about the communication workshop we had last time. Okay. Uh, Gauri Agarwal. Is Gauri Agarwal here? Okay. Somebody else like to read?
Sir, may I?
Ananya? Yeah, go for it. I don't know who said may I. I just see one hand raised.
Sir, can I read Disha?
Yeah, go ahead.
In today's Yes workshop by Kartik sir, we got to learn about the importance of
Maintaining.
maintaining communication skills. We also learn about the various instances of communication like sensitivity, humanity, and sounding compelling enough to ensure effective, positive communication. If one maintains eye contact, body language, appro- appropriate,
Appropriate.
appropriate hand gestures, and a smile on one's face, along with being aware of the content one is speaking, one will engage the crowd better to become a better public speaker. Besides understanding one's crowd or audience, one needs to develop these qualities in oneself. In the chapter Artificial Environment, Vrindaman read out the disadvantages and advantages of artificial environments that affect animals beside taking about pet house, cages and zoos. We also learn about deserts like Archean desert that have thousands of plants and house several animals, making us call them animal farms. We also learn about the role of animals in human activities like farms for grazing and logging. Sometimes animals are not happy because no one asks them whether they wish to work or not. So we as humans should not lose our humanity while forcing animals to work for us. Thank you, sir.
Okay, okay,
Sir, may I
okay.
read next?
Sir, may I read?
Just one sec, just one sec, just one sec. Uh, yeah, is Lavanya there?
No, sir.
Oh. Okay. So, who, Ananya,
Sir,
is that,
am I audible?
yes, you are.
Sir, may I read?
Please.
In a world where AI is taking the lead in guiding the generation on how to present themselves suitably, be it an be it an office presentation, a simple debate, or a speech delivery at the morning assembly, genuine human communication is suffering a setback. Humans are failing to communicate their emotions to each other through words. Wasn't verbal communication a primitive method among humans? So, why are we failing today? We had Kartik sir in the Sunday Yes session with us to tell the generation the basic pointers for effective communications. Things like sensitivity, humility, being astute, sounding compelling enough, and such that one remembers our words and understands us. Today's generation is indeed very sensitive. So, to convey our thoughts without hurting anyone's emotions is a big deal. Social media is a boon and a bane that way. Chatbots are there to emotionally sustain us as well as destroy us. Therefore, it is indeed very important to ensure that we are becoming better at communicating so that we have less dependency on AI for communication.
Okay. Thank you, Ananya. Well done. Okay. Should we, as the votes were split, should we come back later for the rest? Okay. So, you know, anybody who wants to sort of add to some of the reflections that we've had on the last time's workshop on communication by Kartik? Anybody want to add some points or something that you learned, something you thought was very important? Anybody wants to add? Any thoughts you had? Anything you took away? No? I thought it was a very, it was a very, very, really good session, right? And Karthik was trying to cover what you may not learn in school, right? And he gave you some very, very specific and very powerful tips, right? On the title, right? The title should create some interest, right? And he suggested that you think about it at the end, right? Then he talked of to start because that's where you're trying to grab the reader's or the listener's attention. How you need to start with, in a, he gave some three specific ways where you could start, right? You could start with a personal story. He talked about taking his daughter to the movies, right? Because he was talking about, where cinema stands today. Uh, he said you can ask a rhetorical question is a question to which the answer is obvious, or you could start with some startling fact. So you're trying to get the attention of the listener or the reader perked up, right? So that's how he suggested that you start. Then he talked of the heart of the matter was convincing, right? Why someone should believe you. We talked about research, and we talked on questions were also asked. I think Myra asked about sources of uh, you know uh, genuine information, right? So research becomes a piece of it, and these days with the internet, you have to be careful as to you access the right resources, right? And then it talked of a summary where you needed to conclude. Uh, yeah, and sometimes when there is a doubt, so you have to be very clear in what you want to leave the reader feeling, right? And his suggestion was that actually you leave no doubt as to what you are trying to say, and you have to give the impression that you are a solution provider, right? So that was in the heart of it. And then the other points you all have covered very well, right? In terms of eye contact, and your body language, talked of hand gestures, right? He didn't say don't. I mean, talked about this raising a finger, and I realized that I was doing it. This thing about raising a finger, right? So, and if you want to give negative feedback, he used the phrase "zor ka jhatka dheere se," right? And it's in a sometimes in a situation the person is already under pressure. So don't do anything to isolate that person more. Appear to be from that person's side. You need to come across as being from that person's side before you start to give negative feedback. So I thought they were very, very uh, great suggestions on communication. Which we could dial into our what we do. So Manisha ma'am, we can have the book. We can get going. So far, we are with a little bit of luck, we'll finish the story today. Let's see how it goes. But what we read last time was that Shaska, with all her had figured out that something was wrong with Carl. She went and got his address from the bookstore, pretending that she needed to give something back to him. Leon gave it to her, and then she went to his house. He wouldn't open it. She came back home and she found that her father was actually a changed person. And how that had happened was because he had uh, read read her read the book that Carl had given him, right? And so he was now, he totally sort of understood he understood where Shaska was coming from and wanted to make up to her, right? So it's a very sort of a touching part of the story and the book that we are reading, how Shaska's fathers come around just based on the book. And so that gives you some sense of what books can do for you, right? Because if you think about the process, what happened there was uh, किताब पढ़ी शास्का के फादर ने, और हुआ क्या, उसने सोचा, वो कैरेक्टर था, कैरेक्टर किताब का कैरेक्टर उसने आइडेंटिफाई किया, ये तो शास्का की तरह है, ये मेरी तरह है, ये बंदा मेरी तरह है, ये ठीक नहीं कर रहा है। उसने पढ़ा, उसके बारे में सोचा, कैरेक्टर और किताब से आइडेंटिफाई किया, एंड ही रियलाइज दैट व्हाट ही वाज doing was possibly not correct, and he decided to change path. So that just shows you the power of a book. And this is what happens, and this is what we want to happen when you read. And this is actually what happens when you read, and that's why we want you to read. When you read, you will reflect on what's happening in the book. It's a very, very powerful way of learning because this is your own, your own self reflecting and coming up with some thoughts, right? Typically, what happens, I've seen in my life that people only make changes when they want to make a change. And that only happens when you reflect upon something and say, okay, yeah, this is the right thing to do. And then you go out and do it. Most of the times, people are telling us, do this, do that. You never follow that, right? So that's what books can do for you. So it's a very, very powerful way to uh, sort of reflect on one's life, to change what one is not doing right. So it's a very, very powerful methodology, and we saw that happen with Shaska's father. So starting from where we left off, you can go back to your book walker, said Shaska's father, but only if you and I do something together too. It doesn't matter what you choose. but not reading. That's a step too far. What do you say? Now, if you remember, what had happened was that she had gone into her room and she was in her room and shut herself because Shaska's father told her that he pushed Carl, Carl fell, and he didn't pick him up. And so she's very angry with him and she's gone into her room. So she's in her room and closed the door. Shaska said nothing. Was this the right moment to tell her father the truth about what she'd done today? He couldn't get in anyhow. The door was locked. Alternatively, she could make use of the situation to get a raise in her allowance. But Carl was more important. Much, much more important. You've just told me a stupid thing you did, and I was super nice, right? Understanding, not holding a grudge. Why do you ask? Yes or no? Well, yes, but good. Remember that. Shaska stood up in her room and pushed herself up on tiptoe. I couldn't, I haven't seen Carl on Munsterplatz for days. And last night I had a real funny dream. Not funny as in laughing. I mean funny, weird. And it scared me. I dreamed Carl was reading some books and all the words he read disappeared. The pages turned completely blank and white. There's a special book he doesn't want to read because then all the words in it will disappear forever. But someone forces him to read it. I don't know who. I knew it yesterday. Anyway, the words disappear again, but he disappears too because the book is about him. So you see, I had to go look for him. Is that why you're so late home from school today? Carl's not working at the bookstore anymore, and it's your fault. The boss threw him out after you went there. There was a long pause. I'm really sorry about that. He really was, although at that time that meant exactly what he had wanted. Sometimes having your wishes come true can be a curse. You have to make it right. It's super important. You think the manager will give him his job back if I explain everything? I'm super worried about Carl. I got his address at the bookshop, but he wouldn't open the door. Perhaps he wasn't at home, maybe gone shopping or something. I don't think so. She shook her head. I can feel something's wrong. Dad, I'm scared. Something's happened. Will you help me? On one condition. What? Don't say anything dumb. On condition you come out of your room. We are going there right now. Not even in the bathroom would Carl have missed the hammering at his door. Likewise, his neighbors, poking their heads out of their apartment doors like cuckoos from a clock. Has anybody seen a cuckoo clock? Know what we are talking of? Anybody who's seen a cuckoo clock? Hope one of you can sketch it for us in your reflection. Nilashi, Meenakshi, I'm sure you've seen many cuckoo clocks.
I live in Delhi.
Yes, I have heard of cuckoos.
No, the cuckoo clock.
The cuckoo clock I have heard of. As a child, I've heard of the cuckoo clock. We used to have that, I think, in my grandfather's, not, I think, in my grandfather's place. And every time the hour changed, they would go on cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo. We have been there and we've seen that. Okay, and it's interesting. Children are very attracted towards, that sort of a thing. Even for that matter, adults.
Yes,
Oh,
Akash, exactly.
lovely. Lovely.
But
Yes,
this obviously came from a real life experience. It was made into a clock, but it was very real, I guess. That's what
Sir, can I?
comes from.
Yeah, go ahead, Talat.
Sir, it is a type of pendulum clock I have seen in my grandparents' house.
Great.
Yes, yes, yes. And as Meenakshi ma'am said, when the hour strikes, then the cuckoo comes out and cuckoo, cuckoo it goes, right? So it's very
Yes,
interesting.
sir.
But Meenakshi brought up an interesting point that it's maybe based on some real life incident that happened. Somebody made it, so maybe somebody wants to research that. Carl could hear them complaining loudly and with increasing volume. He felt weaker with each chorus of invective. What is invective? Could be somebody cursing, or, just complaining. All he wanted was for the noise to finally stop. There was no alternative but to open up and take delivery of that registered mail. So that's what Shascha done last time. She kept saying mail, mail, mail because otherwise may not open. Mail you would normally open. I'm coming, he called. Put an end to the hammering. Just give me a minute. Carl dressed neatly and brushed his hair into place. There was no time to shave, but he looked presentable. If there was going to be a final demand pressed into his hand, then he'd at least be dressed correctly. He put on a false smile, which was one of Effie's. After all, she no longer needed it. So, if you remember, they managed to rescue Effie, and Effie went off with the nun, and they're staying in Darcy's house. And because Effie was always uh, trying to not show what a real situation, she used to put on a false smile. So that's what Carl means, that Effie didn't need it anymore. Holding the clothesline with one hand to maintain his balance, he opened the door with the other. You look terrible. Shaska stepped forward anxiously and gave his cheek a gentle stroke. Are you ill? Carl saw her father and backed away. Leave me alone. What's the matter with your leg? And have you got a stiff arm, or does it just look that way? He reached out to touch his arm. Carl pulled it away, but couldn't hide the fact he could no longer extend it fully. Just go. I don't want to see anyone. Shaska's father moistened his lips with the tip of his tongue. He wasn't skilled at what he had to do next. It had always been drummed into him that it was a weakness. I'm sorry I pushed you. Please accept my apologies. Is it my fault you are is it my fault you're now Carl slammed the door. He no longer existed, and a person who no longer exists cannot speak with others. For days he had waited for one single soul to show they were interested in Karl Kohlhoff, the person. Now Karl Kohlhoff was no longer interested in other people. Okay. So, you know, we just read about, Shaska's father, that he wasn't skilled at what he had to do next, which was saying sorry. Has anybody felt that? You think it's easy to say sorry or difficult to say sorry? What do you think? Is it easy to say sorry, difficult to say sorry?
Sir, easy to sorry.
Easy.
Sir,
Okay.
easy to say sorry.
Okay.
Very
Have you
easy
all?
to say sorry.
It's easy to say sorry.
That's
Sir, I
good.
feel like that it is easy to say sorry, but it's very difficult to actually feel sorry, like actually genuinely mean it.
Good point, Myra. And what about on the other side? If you're actually not sorry, do you think the other person can figure it out when you just say it and you don't mean it?
Yes, sir. They can definitely figure it out.
Even if they don't figure out at the moment, your
Right,
future actions will easily be able to tell.
right. So, have you ever had difficulty in saying sorry to somebody? Anybody?
So, yes, sir, sometimes, even though I know that it's my mistake, sometimes it's very hard to say sorry, but we have to keep our egos aside and say sorry and mean it as well.
Right. So, ego is one reason why sometimes we have difficulty in saying sorry. Ego is certainly one reason why you feel difficult when you find it difficult to say sorry. But if many of you feel it's easy to say sorry, please make sure it stays like that for the rest of your life, because it's a good thing. The ability to say sorry easily is very, very good. Then we also if you just now see what's been happening in the story so far, we didn't read about it this time, but we read about it last time. Uh, Shaska had, it was expecting punishment because she got caught by her father again doing something wrong, which was basically being out when he was back, and she was missing because she actually went looking for cars, and she just told him that. Yeah, okay, so what's the punishment? Let's get on to it before it's a waste of time, going through the process first. Just tell me what the punishment is. So, what is your sense? Does punishment work? What do you all think? We've all got punished sometimes, right? Does it work? What do you think?
Sir, I think that the punishment works sometimes because if we learned our fault that this is our fault, so we will not do that next time if we will get punishment.
Right, right, right.
Sir, if we
Sometimes,
got punishment and we don't realize, so we cannot any difference on this.
just sorry, say that again, Aditya.
सर अगर हम उस पनिशमेंट को रियलाइज नहीं करते हैं तो फिर वो पनिशमेंट से हमें मतलब कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता.
रियलाइज नहीं करते हैं मतलब कि आपने गलती क्या की, आप अगर आपको समझ नहीं आ रही तो फिर उसका फायदा नहीं.
यस सर.
हाँ, ये भी हो सकता है. तो जो आपको पनिशमेंट दे रहा है, आपको समझाए आपने गलती क्या की, वो जरूरी है, आप कह रहे हैं. तो आपको समझ आए कि आगे से क्या चेंज करना है. So, what anybody else wants to say something around punishment, whether it works or doesn't work? Meenakshi ma'am, do you want to sort of come in, tell us about your perspective on punishment? Yes, Nilashi wants to say something before that. Okay, go ahead, Nilashi. Then we
Yeah.
get Mini.
I think
Yes, there are two things. If you
Yeah,
keep punishing children and you don't give them the reason behind that, then it's of no use. But sometimes a little bit of punishment is necessary, a little bit of fear is necessary. So it depends on I mean, what sort of punishment you are giving and to what extent the child understands the reason behind it and appreciates that, okay, that punishment is meant as a teaching method, as a preventative method, whatever you might. I'll give you a very small example, which I always give. I mean, it's about my daughter. So she was less than 2 years old. Okay. And she used to have this habit of putting her hand into all sorts of water, dirty water. Okay. And every day we would do this, nahi, nahi, ganda, chichi. And then she'd promptly go and do it again.
uh,
She was just 2 years old. It was very difficult to tell her that, it's making her ill and all those things. So one day I stood her up on the bed, gave her a measured slap. She thought I'm joking. She laughed. And that made me realize it's not working. So a slightly harder slap. Now that made her realize that, something is wrong. She held on to me and she kept on crying, crying. Next day, I saw her standing in front of that pocha ka balti, holding her hand and slapping herself and telling her nahi, herself nahi. Okay. Now that prevented a
Wow.
lot of problems from happening. But she understood that that was the reason why she had been, this had been done. And it prevented her from falling ill again. And also a lot of problems for us, right? It was winter time in Delhi, month of December. So you can imagine
Right.
how bad it must have been. So that is
Right.
how it is.
Right.
But again, she understood. Had she not understood and she would have continued, it would have been a very bad experience for her. Okay. And it would have led to other things. Okay.
Right.
So
Right.
punishment in itself may not be, it can become a deterrent. Okay. But one should be very careful with it. One should not always keep on punishing people, scolding people. That has a contrary effect. So that's all.
Right. 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 Yes, Nilashi.
Actually, in our Brewing Knowledge Fridays, we're reading something very similar to what you're talking about or asking about punishment, about
Right.
moral behavior. And I think fear does not really work. It's been normalized a lot more, that fear is a part of life and everything. But I think as a community, as a species, we can think of more alternatives to teach and to learn without the fear of punishment. That's what I would like to say.
Right. So I don't know, what Meenakshi just talked about becoming a deterrent. Okay. In the first boarding school I went to, we used to have a punishment, which was the ultimate punishment, and we were 11 years old at that time, 10, 11 years old. In that particular house, the ultimate punishment was something called Khushru box or Lap Lapacham. Lap Lapacham was nothing but the, the leather part of a hold doll. I don't know if people have not seen a hold doll now, but in the old days there used to be something called a hold doll or a pitra band where you used to carry, you know, razais or gaddas in that thing, because we used to have cotton gaddas, not the kind of gaddas you have now. And so that used to be the casing around the thing. And so if somebody did something really wrong, you got beaten by that. And it was a thing in front of a whole bunch of people. And I mean, no, it hurt, right? So you really didn't want it to happen. So I don't know. I mean, at least as kids at that time, I think that fear of getting that was serious, right? There were obviously two aspects to it. One was the actual pain, but also the other one of in front of everybody and getting hit. So I don't know. I mean, uh, maybe
Also, sorry, sir. Please continue then.
no, go ahead.
Also, see, it's not as if lack of fear or anything is making the youth today more productive in a way. Okay, because the sort of things we hear, okay, we did get beaten up at times. We did get but we did not have a fear of our parents or teachers. Did we really have that fear? We did not have a fear, but we understood what was wrong in the action that we did, because it was very clear that this is the reason why we were being beaten up. I'm not talking about being beaten up as in beaten up like for no reason. I'm talking
Right,
about a limited punishment
right.
for a limited behavior, which will, sometimes it's very difficult to, like I'm talking about my 2-year-old daughter.
Yeah, yeah,
Explain to her that germs, her hands are going into that dirty water, her clothes are getting wet, and the
yeah. Right,
germs will attack her, and that's why she's getting fever again and again, and lose motions
right,
again and again, and
right,
and she's catching a cold. A 2-year-old is not going to understand. What she is going to understand is, अच्छा मम्मी मना कर रही थी, फिर भी मैं कर रही थी, तो डांट पड़ी, है
right,
ना? So that is what
right.
is going to that's how it's going to happen. Even How would you go on to explain a 10-year-old that, like I've had one or two children acting in this manner, school students, the guy jumped up from a 15 feet high wall down to the road there in, in a hilly area. And he
Right.
rolled onto the road and nothing
Right.
happened,
Right.
thankfully. But obviously, he did not understand that what he did was extremely dangerous. So there, something has to be done. It's not that
Yeah.
the child did not have brains, but for some reason he could not understand. He was being
Sure.
adventurous.
Sure.
Okay, for him
Sure.
he was just being adventurous.
Sure.
So,
So,
so that sort of a thing is sometimes a little bit of it is necessary. Otherwise, it becomes like nowadays for everything the child goes and commits suicide. Now you don't know whether he's doing it for himself or is he doing it out of he doesn't have an understanding. He can't cope. Okay, uh, not only child, even lots of adults they can't cope.
yeah.
So, so a little bit of you need to understand that the world is like that. That's it.
Right. So, Soumya, would you like to read what you read? Oh, sorry, what you've written in chat.
I think it's the best way for realization that I will not repeat that mistake again. Maybe I got punishment because the mistake I have created will be wrong for some or other way.
Right.
So there will be some fear of punishment, that I will not repeat this mistake again. And the punishment is something like remember for lifetime.
Right. Right. So that's the point Aditya made also, that what Meenakshi ma'am had earlier made, that person needs to understand, uh, why they're being punished. Yes, Manisha ma'am, would you like to talk
So
and share?
Janvi has put her hand up, so I request her to speak first. Janvi
Okay.
Singh.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Good morning, everyone. This is Janvi, and what I think in this case is punishment. Absolutely, it works. Whether because as a child of this generation, as a student of this generation, I understand being a younger student, I was also getting sometimes beaten up for mistakes. But what I think is, nowadays, this new generation is getting more emotionally, trying to get more emotionally balanced and connected. They have very sensitive emotions sometimes, and some harsh punishments can create anger, resentment, and sometimes anxiety too. So what I think, that punishment is all the way fine when things get out of hands and dangerous. But if you think that the situation can be under control, then this punishment can be paired with guidance over what a correct behavior should be.
Yeah.
Uh,
Thank you for that. Yes. Correct guidance and, on what the correct behavior is important. And I think, just linking it to what Nilashi said earlier, there are alternate ways to deal with things. So it's a difficult subject that I sort of brought up. Yeah, Manisha, let's give you the last word on it.
Okay, I believe nowadays too much of gentle parenting is there. So, first of all, I would like to say that I am against corporal punishment. So, I don't like beating children or like raising my voice too often on them. But also, gentle parenting should not be there. So, we need to find the alternative ways to make the children understand that they are wrong. At the same time, fear of missing out, that is FOMO, should also be there. They need to understand. So we have to talk with them. We have to make them understand that this was wrong and it could have been done better in a very different way. So
Right.
talking to them, counseling them, taking some privileges from them, for example, a games period or a lighter period, may work. It depends on the situation.
Okay. Clearly, this is a subject, a lot of different, interest
Views
to
will be
everybody.
there.
Everybody's been through it, right? So, uh, you know, uh, in school, we had this punishment called change and break. Okay, you did something wrong, but the punishment itself, let me just describe it to you what you'd be if we did. Uh, so we used to have a 20-minute break in between the fourth class and the fifth class, right? And that 20-minute break, you could just do what you want, right? So if you had a change in break, what you had to do, you're wearing school clothes, right, to attend classes. You had to go back to your house, change into PT clothes, come back with a piece of paper which said, I have done a change in break for so and so person on so and so date, get it signed by a prefect who would be standing at a particular place in the school building, and get it signed by that person, go back to your house, get back into school clothes, and be back in class in those 20 minutes. So that was change in break. I thought it was a very, uh, I mean, it wasn't tough in that sense, but it is something that was like a funny punishment, I thought. Anybody sort of suggest, any come across any
So,
funny punishments like what I sort of just described?
for me, punishment is the worst thing for children, but so for me, punishment is the worst thing for children's, but is the biggest lesson we learn, and it is the like it shows direction where we are going, and like it is like how we are going on path,
Right,
a kind of direction planner.
Yes,
right. Okay, nice.
here another experience of mine. I like one of my students, okay. I'd
Right,
scolded him a lot, okay, for whatever
right.
he had. And then I went to him, as is usually my habit, I went and spoke to the child. अच्छा मैम ने बहुत डांट दिया ना, है ना,
Uh,
बुरा लगा होगा and all those things. And the child said, नहीं मैम, मैम डांटती है तो प्यार भी तो करती हैं. So it
uh,
depends on how you handle a punishment, whatever, if the child understands that you do take care of him, you do give him affection, and so then they don't mind it to that extent. Punishment, like I said, uncontrolled punishment where you're going mad giving punishment to people without giving them reasons can have a counter effect. But if you are really compassionate and you understand that the child might feel bad, and you go and give him that little cuddle that he requires after the punishment, and there's an understanding that okay, everything is being done out of love, out of affection, it has a positive effect.
yeah, I think you brought about an important point. One is to understand it, the other is to understand the intention of the punisher. Uh, I mean, again, going back to my school, I mean, sometimes because we in our last year we were all had authority, we had some authority, and we could punish other children in our house or school. And sometimes that punishment was given out of anger, right? And so that was clearly wrong. So the intention of the punisher, if the person understands, that ends up making a big difference. Okay, just another quick question. The authors, Shaska, when a father said, oh, that he wants, uh, he can do something for her, right? And she thought of a raise or, go out to help Carl, and she said that Carl was far, far more important, right? All along, we've been talking of how Shaska is important to Carl. But can you tell me how Carl is important to Shaska? Why do you think Carl is important to Shaska now? Any thought?
Sir, can you repeat the question once again?
Yeah. So see, all in the story so far and earlier in our dialogue, we've been talking a lot about how Shaska is important for Carl, right? But now Shaska feels that Carl is important to her as well, right? So why do you think Carl is important to Shaska? What is the reason she's feeling like this? Okay, now he's like some 70-year-old, she is like some 9-year-old, and clearly they've become friends, right? So she's also missing his company, right? So that's clearly one thing. What else?
So I think that Carl is caring for Shaska or helping her a lot.
Yeah, I think she enjoys her time with him, right? It's an adventure. Children are
Yes.
not doing these things, right? So
Yes.
she is learning things about life when she is going out with Carl. It's like an adventure for her, right? And she's meeting adults, she's understanding things, she's participating in real life around her. That's what seems to interest her, right? So yeah, that's a good answer, Salah. Okay, so okay, one more thing. This Shaska's dream, right? And I was just reflecting on something that happened. So let me ask you. So Shaska had this dream, right? That Carl was something was happening to Carl, right? About that the bird disappearing in the book, and then and Carl disappearing. When Carl is actually in trouble, right? And she's dreaming of it. How does such a thing happen? How does such a thing happen? Right? Has it happened? Something like this happened to you when when you start thinking of somebody or something, and that thing actually is happening? Has that happened to you? I hope you understood the question, right? Shaska, Carl was in trouble, and Shaska dreamt of it and said, "Okay, I have to find out." Right? So, I mean, many times we would pass this off as a coincidence, right? But do you think it's a coincidence? Has it happened to you sometime? You're thinking of somebody, you call somebody, you meet somebody, and they said, "I've been thinking of you." Has it happened to you?
Telepathy do happen, sir, many a times.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It can't be a lot. Many of these things can't be a coincidence, right? Something is happening in the environment which is making us, which made Shaska that get that dream. I'll tell you a story the other day. I was with this cousin of mine, and she, had taken her young son to uh, uh, our grandparents' house, right? Our grandparents are no more, and but she showed her young son, who's like close to 2 years old now, the pictures of our grandparents, and and she. So he was, every day in the morning he would go and sort of say hello to them in the picture and stuff like that while he was there. And on the day that they were leaving, he, in the morning, she said, "Okay, let's say bye bye to Bade Mama and Bade Daddy." And so he, sort of gave them a flying kiss, and they came to Gurgaon. They visited an aunt of mine, aunt of ours actually, and she gave an old sweater knitted by my grandmother for that boy to wear. Okay, and it was independent action where she said that the my mama had knitted the sweater for her grandson, but he he didn't wear it. But it would be nice if this is the age and if your son can wear it. Now just think of what happened. That connection with the grandparents started on that trip. That morning, he has sort of said bye to them, and in the evening, he gets a sweater which is knitted by her. Just think of it. Do you think this is a coincidence? You think it's a coincidence, or somewhere somebody in this world plotting something?
Actually, everything in the world is being plotted by someone. We don't decide anything, right? I've realized that and a lot of things. Sometimes what happens is what we wish also becomes true. Uh, the
Yeah,
universe actually ensures that we get it all. So that is
yeah,
how
we
it. So
lost
our
your voice
wishes
in
are
the
always
middle.
fulfilled.
Yeah, we lost your voice in the middle, but yeah, we did get the message. And I also think so that, uh, I mean, this something is being started which we are not able to see, but it shows up in what we think may be a coincidence. Okay, so let's read ahead. That night, Shaska didn't sleep. She was busy hatching a plan. She packed away her detective gadgets. That was kid stuff. This was serious. After Carl had slammed the door in their faces, she and her father had gone to all of Carl's customers to speak with them. The bookworker needed to get back on the street, and it would take a whole city to achieve it. Shaska wrote it out like a story, exactly the way it should all happen. She filled all the remaining blank pages in her friendship album. She crossed out and edited, marking places with a star where she made additions. It took hours. It, it all began with Carl opened the door. Okay, so now, Manisha, I want to read the rest in one shot. So either we're going to eat into your time today or we keep it for next time. What do you want to do?
So that's your wish. You can complete that if you wish.
Because I mean, it's a nice, it'll be the end of the book. So I want to do it one shot is the point I'm making. It's about 8 pages. It'll take a
So we
little
can
time.
finish this today. It'll be
Okay.
like
Okay. So then I'll pretty much read I'll try and not stop too much. Okay. Carl opened the door. The intercom could take anyone's voice and make it sound like they were standing in an Arctic snowstorm. Book delivery for Kolhov, Shaska said, from the city gate bookshop. She had lowered her voice to a deep murmur and added a cough for good measure. Her throat was still sore as she arrived at Carl's apartment door. She was prepared for the door to open no more than a crack and knew she would need to slip inside quickly. Shaska laughed with glee as her plan succeeded. Carl hadn't heard a laugh for a long time, and a delightful laugh like this one for even longer. Hello, bookworm, she said, peeking into one of the rooms in curiosity. You've got no books. She ran into the next room, where there was an equal absence of books, just a bed frame, complete with rust but no mattress. Where are they all? Carl walked towards her, keeping one hand on the clothesline. Where are they all? He pointed to his head and his heart. Here and here. You know what I mean? Sold. I don't want to talk about it. It was clear to Shaska now that Carl was no longer himself. His face was too gone, his posture too stooped, the spark in his eyes too dim. He reminded her of a bloom in Mr. Darcy's floral clock, its calyx closed and bowed, waiting for the bright rays of the sun to fall on it. I'm sure you all read about calyx in biology, otherwise, or you will. Janvi, Janvi Singh, are you there? And you know where we are? Would you like to read? Janvi, possible for you to read? Okay, you're not hearing back from her. Myra,
Yes, sir.
okay, go for it.
Okay, sir. That was her task. Today, she would be the sun.
No, no, you missed a. Sorry, you got it right. Go ahead.
Sir, next page. Ready? She asked. Ready for what? Responded Carl. For your work, of course. Oh, Shasha, I don't work for the bookshop any longer. That chapter of my life is over. You could have saved yourself the trouble. No trouble. Now let's get down the stairs. You can lean on me. I've grown again this week. There's no point to all of this. Leave me here. I want my favor, said Schascha. Right now. She grinned. Carl gave her a long stare. You've planned this very carefully, haven't you? You had no chance. Arriving at the bottom of the stairs, Carl had to pause for a moment for breath before they stepped out of the door. Part two, she whispered, so quietly he couldn't hear it. Her father stood next to a kind of walking frame with an adapted basket designed to transport books, even large format atlases. He had also added larger tires and suspension springs in case to ease the journey over the city's old cobbled streets. I chose the color myself, explains Shasha, to make sure everyone can see you. It was a gaudy neon yellow. It probably glowed in the dark. Try it out, said her father. I can adjust the size for you. After a few adjustments, everything was fitted, and Carl pushed his new vehicle for a few meters. It may be a very practical thing, but the bookshop fired me. We know, said Chacha. Everyone follow me. Part 3. Hurry up. She couldn't wait for the adventure to continue. It was just as well Carl would be faster with the book mobile than ever before. Before reaching Munsterplatz, they turned off into Frontstrasse, not stopping until they reached the Moses antiquarian bookshop, where Dr. Faustus was waiting for them. Hello, Mr. Koldhoff. How exceptionally uplifting to see you. Can you please tell me what's going on here? The others won't tell me a thing. Dr. Faustus glanced at Stasha, who nodded. Well, then, at first, my efforts were not resounding. A success as your younger companion undoubtedly imagined. Despite my most exceptionally eloquent arguments, Mrs. Gruber declined to re-employ you. You can't retouch an old binding, were her words. The old binding gave me inspiration. Before I acquainted with you and your service, from time to time I would acquire books from the Mosses antiquarian bookshop. Their advice, at least that of the business owner, was questionable. The several exceedingly mediocre works were recommended to me. In other words, they could make good use of you here. All further details will be explained by the business owner. The
Okay,
door
thank
to
you,
the
Myra.
antiquarian.
Just stop here. So, when we started the book, and that one of those days, Sandeep was with us, and he sort of agreed with this concept that one of the key things in a bookshop is actually the advice that you give the person who walks in on the type of book that they should read or buy, and that's a very key part of selling books. So this antiquarian bookshop is the bookshop where Shaska had also picked up the books with her pocket money to give people, which actually helped them, which turned around, Carl's way of thinking. Right? He saw what they did for those people, and he also started to do the same thing then. And so that's where we came across the antiquarian bookshop earlier. So I'll just read from here, Myra. The door to the antiquarian bookshop had no bell. It squeaked. Hans Witten was standing on a step ladder, dusting one of the old wall radios that sat atop every bookcase. He had once put his old radio in the window as part of the display, and his customers had promptly begun presenting him with their own treasures on the assumption he collected them. He hadn't had the heart to refuse. Carl, there you are. What a to do. He climbed down and held out his hand. I've been waiting to speak to you for a long time, but you've always sent that young man with your books. So was sending Leon to do this job. I expected you to come in person, but all's well. You're here now. The professor has explained the situation to me and kindly also drawn my attention to certain inaccurate historical works in my stock. Carl activated the brake on his walking frame. Hans, I honestly don't understand what I'm here for. Work, Carl. What else? You know as well as I do that since my wife died, I need someone like you here. You're familiar with so many books and you can help people in their search. I'm good for arranging and dusting and bookkeeping at a pinch. But since Maria died, I'm getting fewer customers all the time. That's very kind of you. But then I no longer be the bookwalker. You can be that in the evening. Who orders antiquarian books for home delivery? Surely they're the kind of things people browse for. A sneeze sounded, and Mr. Darcy emerged from one of the aisles. Excursion day, he said, by way of excuse. I don't know but how the pollen grains find my nose among all the books here, but they are very successful. Andrea has recommended something to alleviate it, but unfortunately the pollen remains undeterred. Andrea is actually Effie. He walked over to Shaska, standing by her father and Dr. Foster. The young lady here had a good idea. One of many, it seems to me. I'm going to finance you, Carl. Finance? Finance what? Carl looked around for help. This is it, thought Shaska. Her plan would only work if Carl said yes right away. One little word, one huge impact. From now on, you'll be giving books to people who can't afford them. The words tumbled out of her. They can contact the bookshop here and then he will pay for them. She pointed to Kristen von Hohenhesch. She'd, she'd not yet revealed to him his true name. Our nun is writing a press release about the project. She said she can do that because she's got a lot of contact with newspapers over the past few years, and Mrs. Longstocking has promised to check it for grammatical mistakes. It's all sorted. You have to just say yes. Simple. Carl felt old and frail. The feeling increased now that all eyes were turned expectantly on him, willing him to be strong enough to take on a new mission. You all put a lot of thought and effort into this, especially you, Shaska, but here are the books that need to be delivered today, said Hans Witten, and into a small, moving to a small stack. There for some very dear, long standing customers whose literary taste I'm familiar with, but who have very little money to buy books. Mr. Witten can't deliver them, said Shaska with great certainty. He has no time for that. She looked at the others. She had handed out good reasoning written on slips of paper to each of them for the purpose of convincing Carl. Besides Mr. Witten's knowledge of the city is as deficient as his knowledge of books, added Dr. Foster. The bookmobile doesn't fit him either. I can't adjust the height any further. That was from Shaska's father. Dr. Foster deciphered another slip of paper. Additionally, Mr. Witten doesn't like strolling through the city in the dark. No, no one needs more reasons than that, said Mr. Darcy. And now you need to get these books delivered quickly. Otherwise, they'll wilt, he added with a satisfied smile. Janvi, are you there? Janvi saying, you want to read?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Okay, start reading, please.
So from the beginning?
No, Carl looked into each expectant face.
Okay. Carl looked into each expectant face. If all the world was indeed a stage, as Shakespeare once said, then it seemed the audience wanted an encore from him, and no long trooper with any sense of decency could deny that. Slowly, Carl pushed his chariot towards the stack.
He hadn't yet entirely got used to this mode of transport. Then he looked Then he took the wrapping paper, scissors, and sticky tape he was offered to wrap the books neatly. After taking the recipient's details from Hans Witten, he stepped outside. Everyone followed him. Along the way, they were joined by Effie, Hercules, and the reader, and Mr. Longstocking.
Mrs.
Even dog,
Go ahead, go ahead.
even dog appeared and ran around them, barking like a shepherd's border collie. It had found its vocation. Has the cat moved in permanently with you? Carl asked Dr. Faustus, who was walking beside him. Oh, it never stays more than few days with me. It always comes back, but only for a delectable treats, I suspect. No, said Carl. It only wants you to think that. It's a matter of pride for a cat that lives wild. Otherwise, what would the other street cats say? It felt good to be walking again, to feel the city under the soles of his feet, to hear it, to smell it. Carl missed the weight of books on his shoulders, the feel of its diminishing with each delivery. But it was also a pleasure to see them in the basket in front of him, in a blanket he had placed here there to protect their collars. For a while he said nothing. Then he leaned over to Sashka. You organize this well. When there are no lemons involved, you do a great job. You're you're so funny, Sheila. You gave my father Ronja the robber's doctor. That was a smart move. Well, actually, it was for your Simon. We should take him a copy too. He's not my Simon, she pouted. But the day before yesterday, when I cried because I got a really bad grade in sports, he came over and shoved me, but in a really nice way. You see, you can't take him the book by yourself. All right, I'll walk alone, and you can walk alone beside me. Carl had learned he could not openly contradict this little girl. Li- Little girls wanted something, they wanted it with irresistible force. And he was much too old to be an immovable object. I've been giving name, I've been giving your name some thought, said Carl. At last, it wasn't easy. Course not. It's for me. I'm as odd as you, and I'm only 9. I'm bound to be even odder than you one day. Carl would have loved to stroke her head in reassurance, but he would have lost his balance. At first, I thought you were like Bastian Balthazar Bucks from the never ending story. But I'm a girl, protested Shashka. Bastian had a vivid imagination and immense power, but he doesn't realize it. So his name doesn't fit you. You know exactly how much power you have. Superlots, Sashka flexed her little muscles. Then I thought I'd found you in Ronja the robber's daughter. But Ronja is a child of the forest, and you're a child of the city. You need your penguin ice cream and lots of people around you. There simply isn't any book with a character like you. But you said you'd find one. No, I said I thought about it. Shashka kicked a
Okay, I'll take it from there, Janvi, thanks. But the answer has just come to me. And you're only telling me this now? I wanted to create some tension. You mean old man, she grinned. And you're going to tell me now? Or do I have to start crying? No more crying, I'll tell you. I'm going to write a book, like the reader. And in it, there will be a little girl just like you. who I will call Shaska. Then your literary name will be your real name. Will the book be about us? Every good book is about people. I mean, will Mr. Darcy and Effie and the others appear in it? She paused and bit her upper lip. And my dad? My kind dad. Not the other one. He's gone now. Carl nodded. I will write the book as it is fiction, not a true life story. Then Mr. Darcy, Effie, and others will become what they have been all these years for me, characters in a novel. And even when the book is closed, they'll continue to live inside it. Shaska, too. I think that's wonderful. Me, too. Awesome, in fact. As they approached the dark alley, Carl's pace slowed. It seemed gloomier than ever before. All at once, he felt a hand on his shoulder. It was trembling, and Carl turned to see who it belonged to. It was Shaska's father. Other hands joined in. Carl took a deep breath. You'll have to come with me every evening from now on. You know that, don't you? There was the sound of laughter, but it was the sound of joyful anticipation. It was a part of Shaska's plan that from now on, an adult would walk with Carl every evening to be there for him. Together, the bookwalker trod the path through the darkness because the book needed someone to show them the way. So that's the book. Just one quick question. Anybody? How are you feeling? Any thoughts, any reflections, anything you want to say about the book, about what we've just read? Do you like the story? Do you like the book? No reaction. Anybody? Do you like the book? Didn't like the book?
We loved the book.
Yeah,
Yes, sir, I like.
Sir, I like the book.
yeah. I think it's very interesting. Yeah, Manu also says the same thing. Yeah, very interesting book, right? Because I mean, a very unusual friendship, right? And just amazed the character of Shasta as it's portrayed, right? I mean, she's smarter than many adults, it seems to me. Yes, Suleka's also saying like the book, and thank you, Nilashi, for that link. That must be linked on the history of cuckoo clocks, right?
Yes, yes, it is.
So the book, I think, shows that there can be deep friendship between people of different age, right? And friendship is not about, it's not necessary that it should be between between peers. This is like a really great friendship between an old man and a young girl, and it depends on how we connect with each other.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's about the connection and the intent, and and also, I mean, the other thing which is fascinating in the book is the learning, right? How uh, they all learned from each other, right? And I thought that that part of how Shaska's father sort of turned around just on the basis of book was very, very fascinating, and how Carl would pick books which he thought would help people, right? So
Yeah, absolutely. And also, accepting each other's thoughts, actually, that is important when it's no, I may be, I may have a certain belief, you may have a certain belief system, but then
yeah,
we are willing to listen to each other and accept each other's viewpoint. Sometimes we may not even agree with each other totally, but we accept each other's viewpoint. That is very important for today's uh, people, because we are becoming more and more rigid about our views. And
yeah,
we get into arguments and fights just because we don't want to listen to the other person, or we are not willing to accept that okay, that's his viewpoint, I can have my own viewpoint, and we can get along fine. That is one thing,
Right.
because it's okay, Shashka and
Carl.
the Carl, they might have had a similar viewpoint, but it was not always so. She got away with what she wanted to do, and he accepted it, and he also you know uh, expressed his viewpoint to her, and somewhere they'll get along. Even her father, I mean, that is ultimately what happened. He was
Yeah.
rigid in the beginning, and that is what made him so violent. But the
Yeah.
moment he got off his all the uh, what should I say, all that insecurities, he
Right.
became open to things, and that is, I think, that's a very important thing for from that we have learned from the book, and also important for us today. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah. So, Manisha ma'am, many children are writing in the chat about what to think of the book. If there's a way to capture that, that would be good.
Yes,
You know,
sir.
Soumya saying, I like you with the friendship there it was mind blowing. Right. And Naseem Arya has written a very insightful thing that this shows that there is no age of learning. You learn to the end of your life. That's a very, very insightful comment, and that's what that book that we read about, Cynthia Cover-Halley and Stephen Covey. I mean, this is a key point in that book which we read some time back. So, if there's a way to capture this, that would be nice. So, without much ado, let me hand it over to you. We've already eaten into your time, but I just wanted to try and finish this today. Over to you, Manisha.
Thank you so much, sir, and good morning to everyone.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Good morning,
We
ma'am.
are ready with the next
Good
one.
morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. So we all are ready with the next book. Okay. Before the next book, I would like to share. What should I share? A quiz?
Yes.
Ready for the quiz?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So, what do you think the topic or the title of my chapter will be this time? Is my screen visible to you?
मैम रजनी का शानदार बल्ला
रंजी का शानदार बल्ला।
रंजी का शानदार बल्ला। ठीक है, तो अब हम एक छोटे से क्विज से समझेंगे कि क्या चैप्टर है. लेट मी सी योर आंसर्स. माय फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन, व्हाट डू यू थिंक मेक्स रंजी's cricket bat शानदार?
Ma'am, it helped him to hit long sixes.
Okay. I
मैम
will
it
not tell you the
helps to
answer now.
hit
Lucky charm.
Ma'am, it has a lucky
मैम
charm.
it helps him to long six.
बेटा एक काम करते हैं, सबको मौका मिलना चाहिए, तो आप लोग चैट बॉक्स में अपने आंसर्स लिख दीजिए. Okay, second question. What kind of cricketer do you imagine Ranji to be? Next.
Ma'am,
Where do a powerful hitter? Okay. Next, where do you think Ranji usually plays cricket?
ma'am, in a tournament में
Okay.
Ma'am, on a narrow
मैम
street
it is
with
small
friends.
playground match.
Stories get interesting when something happens. What cricket related problem might Ranji face? Yes, Samar? Disha? Anyone can answer this.
Loses his bat before.
Ma'am can I answer?
Yes.
Ma'am he loses his bat before a match.
Okay. He lost his bat.
Ma'am, I
He
think
lost
someone might challenge him.
How might the bat change Ranji's cricket play?
He becomes more confident.
Ma'am, he becomes
When
super
he
confident.
becomes more
Wants to be
confident, he becomes
he
more confident.
practices.
What do you think is the main role of the Shandar Balla in the story?
Ma'am, all of the above.
Test
Okay,
Ranji's
Ma'am, all
skills.
of the
all right. See, I'm not telling you that your answers are right or wrong. I'm just taking and noting your answers. And my story, today's story, is going to tell you the real answer. So you have to wait for the story to start and end. Okay, I'll just take last three questions. If you had a Shandar bat, what shot would you want to play first?
Grade 6.
Helicopter shot.
Ma'am,
Ma'am,
helicopter.
Grade
helicopter
6.
shot.
Helicopter shot.
All right. What do you think helps Ranji in the story?
Ma'am, his cricket team.
A stranger who knows
His
to
cricket teammates.
Coach or
Okay.
teacher.
Cricket team.
All right. So, what do you think Ranji feels when he first gets the bat?
Ma'am, excited.
Okay.
Proud.
All of
Ma'am,
these.
excited.
These.
Little bit nervous, proud, and excited.
Ma'am,
Okay.
all of
All of these. ठीक
all
है.
of these.
So there are many questions, but I'm not taking because it is short of time. So you all know that we are reading the book Ruskin Bond. And what is the name of the book? The Whistling Schoolboy and Other
The
Stories.
whistling.
Bond.
Ma'am,
Schoolboy
the
and Other Stories.
Ruskin Bond.
Yes, it is from Ruskin Bond. And Ruskin Bond कहाँ रहते हैं?
Masu.
Very good. So you all remember he lives in Missouri. Okay. So आज के चैप्टर का नाम है रणजी का शानदार बल्ला and बल्ला we all know is known as bat. ठीक है?
Bat.
Let's start. I request everyone to be muted so that मेरी आवाज सबके पास जाए and background noise नहीं हो. Okay. ये कैसे हुआ? गेंद को हाथ में पकड़े विकेट कीपर चिल्लाया. ये कैसे हो गया? स्लिप में खड़े खिलाड़ियों की आवाज गूंजी. आखिर कैसे? तेज गेंदबाज ने अंपायर की ओर देखते हुए चिल्लाया. आउट! अंपायर ने कहा. और फिर क्या था? सूरज जो टीम का कप्तान था, उसकी वापसी पवेलियन की तरफ रुखसती हो गई. और सच कहूं तो वो पवेलियन सही मायने में एक कबाड़ खाने के सिवा कुछ भी नहीं था. सो पवेलियन को ये लोग कबाड़ खाना बोल रहे हैं. क्या पवेलियन सच में कबाड़ खाना होता है?
नो मैम.
तो क्या होता है पवेलियन?
मैम जहाँ पे मैम जो बैट्समैन आउट हो जाते हैं और मैम वो रहते हैं और जो मैम आने वाले रहते हैं मैम खेलने के लिए और वो रहते हैं.
ऑल राइट, बट वन एट अ टाइम बेटा. ठीक है. इस वक्त टीम का स्कोर 4 विकेट पर 53 रन था. 53. जीतने के लिए अभी भी 60 रन और चाहिए थे और अब सिर्फ एक ही अच्छा बल्लेबाज बचा था, जबकि बाकी सभी गेंदबाज थे, जिससे रन बनाने की कोई उम्मीद नहीं की जा सकती थी. 4 बल्लेबाजों के आउट के बाद रणजी बल्लेबाजी करने के लिए मैदान में उतरा. रणजी की उम्र 11 साल थी और वह टीम का सबसे छोटा खिलाड़ी था, लेकिन शारीरिक रूप से बहुत ही तगड़ा और साहसिक था. जैसे कि वह तेजी से अपनी क्रीज की तरफ बढ़ रहा था, तो उसी वक्त पहाड़ों से आती हुई ठंडी हवा के झोंके उसके बिखरे हुए बालों को सहला रहे थे. रणजी की आंखें काफी तेज और कलाई बहुत मजबूत थी और उसने पिछले कुछ छोटे मोटे मैचों में अनेक रन बनाए थे. लेकिन पिछले 2 इंटर स्कूल टूर्नामेंट मैच में उसका व्यक्तिगत स्कोर बहुत कम रह गया था, यानी कि 12 रन से ज्यादा नहीं था. लेकिन आज वो इतने रन बनाना चाहता था जिससे कि उसके टीम को जीत मिल सके. डू यू थिंक इट इज पॉसिबल कि 60 रन वो अकेला बना सके?
नो मैम.
No,
ओके, तो
ma'am. He wants teamwork.
क्या स्ट्रैटेजी होनी चाहिए?
मैम सबको मैम एक साथ खेलना चाहिए.
सबको एक
Ma'am.
साथ खेलना चाहिए. और
Ma'am, he wants teamwork to play nice.
okay, so let's see whether it happens or not. रणजी ने क्रीज पर आकर गार्ड लिया और गेंदबाज का सामना करने के लिए तैयार हो गया. विपक्षी टीम के खिलाड़ी एक और कैच की उम्मीद में बल्लेबाज के करीब आ गए थे. इस दौरान लंबे तेज गेंदबाज ने मुंह सिकोड़ा और फिर लंबे लंबे कदम लेके दौड़ने लगा। उसने अपना हाथ घुमाया और फिर सख्त लाल चमकदार गेंद सनसनाती हुई रणजी की तरफ दौड़ के आई। रणजी आगे बढ़कर गेंद को वापस गेंदबाज की तरफ खेलते जा रहा था, पर अंतिम समय में उसने अपना इरादा बदल दिया और पीछे हटकर उसने गेंद को रिंग में खड़े क्षेत्र रक्षक के दाएं और फिर ऑफ साइड से धकेलने का इरादा बनाया। गेंदबाज कंगारू की तरह उछकता हुआ चिल्लाया, हाउस दैट। विकेट कीपर भी चिल्लाया, हाउ। अंपायर ने आहिस्ता से उंगली को उठा लिया। उसने कहा, आउट। सूरज ने रणजी की पीठ को थपथपाते हुए कहा, कोई बात नहीं, अगली बार तुम बेहतर करोगे। अभी तुम फॉर्म में नहीं हो, बस। आगे उसने रणजी से कहा, तुम्हें अगले मैच में अच्छे रन बनाने होंगे, अन्यथा तुम्हें टीम से अपनी जगह को खोना पड़ जाएगा। अन्य खिलाड़ियों को नजरअंदाज करते हुए रणजी अपने सर को झुकाए, हाथों को अपने पॉकेट में रखकर आहिस्ता आहिस्ता पवेलियन की तरफ बढ़ गया। वह बहुत परेशान था। वह काफी प्रयास और नियमित रूप से अभ्यास कर रहा था, परंतु जब भी कोई बड़ा मैच होता तो वह बड़ा स्कोर करने में विफल हो जाता था। ऐसा प्रतीत होता कि शायद वह इस बारे में कुछ भी नहीं कर सकता था, लेकिन उसे क्रिकेट खेलना बहुत अच्छा लगता था और वह स्कूल टीम से बाहर होने का के बारे में कभी कल्पना भी नहीं कर सकता था। घर वापस जाने के दौरान रणजी को घंटा भर इधर से उधर घर के अंदर गुजरना होता था। यहाँ पर वह अक्सर कुमार स्पोर्ट्स शॉप पर उसके मालिक से गपशप करने या अलमारी पर रखी हुई सभी चीजें जैसे फुटबॉल, क्रिकेट की गेंद, बैडमिंटन रैकेट, हॉकी स्टिक, अलग अलग नाप और आकार की गेंदों को देखने के लिए रुक जाया करता था। यह जगह उसके लिए वंडरलैंड की तरह थी और उसे रोज आराम फरमाने में मजा आता था। लेकिन उस दिन उसने वहां रुकने की बिल्कुल भी इच्छा नहीं हो रही थी। वह दूसरी तरफ देखते हुए सड़क को पार ही करने वाला था कि कुमार की आवाज ने उसे रोक दिया। हेलो रंजी, क्या बात है, आज बड़ी जल्दी में हो और तुम इतने उदास क्यों दिखाई दे रहे हो? आवाज सुनकर न चाहते हुए भी रंजी को रुककर नमस्ते कहना पड़ा। असल में रंजी, श्रीमान कुमार, जो कि हमेशा ही बहुत दयालु और मददगार साबित होते थे, और यहाँ तक कि अक्सर वह रंजी को अलग अलग तरीके से गेंदबाजी करने की सलाह भी दिया करते थे। इस सब से चलते उन्होंने यह चाहकर भी नजरअंदाज नहीं कर पाया, मिस्टर कुमार कभी राज्य स्तरीय खिलाड़ी थे और उन्होंने तंजानिया के खिलाफ एक शतक भी ठोका था। कोई बता सकेगा कि शतक क्या होता है?
मैम
मैम
सेंचुरी।
सेंचुरी। सो हाउ मेनी रन्स आर दोस?
मैम 100।
100? आर यू श्योर?
यस
Yes,
मैम।
ma'am. 100 runs are
Okay, that's lovely. So ठीक है, तो शतक उन्होंने बनाया था, यानी कि 100 रन्स उन्होंने बनाए थे। अब वह नए युवा खिलाड़ियों को उत्साहित किया करते थे और उन्हें लगता था कि आगे चलकर रणजी एक अच्छा क्रिकेटर बनेगा। जैसे ही रणजी दुकान के अंदर दाखिल हुआ, उन्होंने पूछा, क्या समस्या है? चूंकि मिस्टर कुमार इतने स्नेहशील थे, इसलिए की सामग्री भी मित्रतापूर्ण व्यवहार करती प्रतीक होती थी। क्या कोई ऑब्जेक्ट, नॉन लिविंग थिंग फ्रेंड्स हो सकते हैं?
मैम नो।
ओके,
No,
तो यहाँ पे ऐसा क्यों बोला गया है कि जो ऑब्जेक्ट्स थे, जो बैट थे, क्रिकेट बैट थे, बैडमिंटन थे, रैकेट्स थे, वो मित्रतापूर्ण व्यवहार कर रहे हैं, ऐसा सबको प्रतीत होता है? ऐसा क्यों किताब में बोला गया है?
मैम क्योंकि वो उनकी इमेजिनेशन थी।
ओके।
मैम क्योंकि मैम उसे मैम अच्छी तरीके से मैम खेल सकते थे, तो मैम इसलिए मैम उन्होंने अपना दोस्त बताया होगा मैम उन्हें।
ओके, तो इमेजिनेशन थी, वो उसको प्यार करते थे, वो अच्छी तरीके से खेल सकते थे, इसलिए उन्होंने उसे अपना दोस्त बताया। ठीक है, वेरी गुड, वेल आंसर्ड। बल्ले और गेंद तथा शटल कॉक सभी के सभी ऐसा प्रतीक होता था कि मदद करना चाहते हो। रंजी ने कहा, हम मैच हार गए। कोई बात नहीं, मिस्टर कुमार ने कहा, हारे बिना हमें भला जीत का रास्ता कैसे मिलेगा? क्या कोई ऐसा खेल है जिसमें हार और जीत ना हो? कोई भी तो ऐसा खेल नहीं है। अगर कोई हारता है तो कोई जीतता है, ये तो नियम है। ऐसा कुछ ना कुछ होता ही रहता है। आप क्रिकेट या फुटबॉल या फिर हॉकी और टेनिस को ही ले लो, अंटी और कैरम को भी देख लो। कोई भी तो ऐसा खेल नहीं जहां पर हार या जीत नहीं होती हो। हार और जीत तो सिक्के के दो पहलू होते। खैर, ये बताओ कि तुमने कितने रन बनाए? एक भी नहीं। एक गोल बड़ा बड़ा अंडा बनाया मैंने। मिस्टर कुमार ने आहिस्ता से अपना हाथ रंजी के कंधे पर रखा। कोई बात नहीं, कभी कभार हर अच्छे खिलाड़ी का बुरा दिन भी आता है, लेकिन मैंने अपने पिछले 3 मैचों में एक बार भी एक अच्छा स्कोर नहीं बनाया। रंजी ने कहा, और यदि मैंने अगले मैच में अच्छा नहीं खेला तो टीम में से बाहर कर दिया जाऊंगा। मिस्टर कुमार ने गंभीर मुद्रा में सोचते हुए कहा, हम ऐसा नहीं होने देंगे। इस बारे में कुछ ना कुछ तो करना ही पड़ेगा। रंजी ने कहा, मैं तो बस बदकिस्मत हूं। इस केस में बिल्कुल हो सकता है कि वह तुम्हारी बदकिस्मती हो, लेकिन अब वक्त आ गया है कि तुम्हारी किस्मत दुरुस्त की जाए। रंजी ने कहा, अब बहुत देर हो गई है। सब बकवास है। अभी भी कुछ नहीं बिगड़ा। अब तुम मेरे साथ दुकान के पीछे के हिस्से में आओ और मैं देखता हूं कि मैं तुम्हारी किस्मत को बदलने के लिए क्या कर सकता हूँ। उधेड़ बूंद में फंसा हुआ रंजी पर्दे के पीछे के हिस्से में मिस्टर कुमार के पीछे चला गया। उसने अपने आप को एक ऐसे कमरे में पाया जहां पर धुंधला प्रकाश था और छत तक सभी तरह की फटी फुटबॉल, ब्लेंडर, टूटे हुए बल्ले, बिना जाल का रॉकेट, टूटा हुआ भाला और बर्छा और फटा हुआ बैडमिंटन नेट जैसे कई पुराने और सेकंड हैंड खेल सामग्री भरी हुई थी। मिस्टर कुमार पुराने क्रिकेट के बल्लों का निरीक्षण करने लगे और फिर चंद मिनट के बाद बोले, ओह! अभी उन्होंने उसमें से एक बल्ला उठाया और रंजीव की तरफ बढ़ा दिया। यह लो, वह बोले, ये मेरे सभी पुराने बल्लों में से सबसे किस्मत वाला बल्ला है। इस बल्ले से मैंने शतक जड़ा था। उन्होंने उस बल्ले को अपने हाथ में घुमाया और फिर गेंद की कल्पना करते हुए कमरे के सभी कोनों की तरफ उससे मारना शुरू कर दिया। यहाँ पे मैं ये पूछना चाहूंगी कि आपको लगता है कि ऐसा कोई बल्ला हो सकता है कि जिसको लेते ही आप हार को जीत में बदल दो?
No, ma'am, it is about luck.
ओके, इट इज अबाउट लक। तो
Ma'am,
मेहनत
it's
नहीं करते,
about
सब
luck.
अपने लक से ही जीतते हैं।
मैम
मैम
मेहनत तो
मेहनत
नो
करते हैं।
मैम
मैम सभी अपने मेहनत से अपना
मैम
अपना
लक
गेम सुधारते
मैम
हैं।
प्रैक्टिस बेस्ट
मैम
बेटा,
इनका
आई
लक
विल रिक्वेस्ट यू टू आंसर वन एट अ टाइम। ऐसे समझ में नहीं आएगा मुझे। तो अभिमन्यु अभी कह रहे थे, अभिमन्यु के बाद जो हैंड रेस करेंगे उनको मौका मिलेगा। यस अभिमन्यु।
मैम वो अपनी मेहनत से जो प्रैक्टिस की होगी उसी से अपना गेम का जो खेल है उसको बदला जा सकता है।
वेरी गुड अभिमन्यु। आदित्य, आप क्या कहना चाहेंगे?
मैम जो मतलब अगर लक हमारा बुरा भी है तो हम अपनी मेहनत से उसको बदल सकते हैं।
ओके, नाइस। और कोई बोलना चाहेगा कुछ?
मैम
यस ताहिर।
मैम ये लक भी तो है, लेकिन इससे हम लोग मोटिवेट भी हो सकते हैं कि हाँ मेरे पास ये है, ऐसा बल्ला है तो मैं इससे खेल सकता हूँ, अच्छा खेल सकता हूँ। तो इससे हम लोग को एक मोटिवेशन भी मिलेगा, जिससे कि हम लोग और अच्छे से प्रैक्टिस करके खेल सकते हैं।
नाइस। प्रांजल, प्रांजल आप कुछ कहना चाहेंगे?
मैम जो अपने मैच में डेडिकेशन से खेलेगा वो मैच बदल सकता है।
Okay. So honesty, dedication, hard work, everything is important. That's what we all feel.
यस
Yes,
मैम।
Veda.
Ma'am,
कहिए वेदा।
self-confidence and self-belief can change game.
Very good.
Like with
Confident.
the example of placebo effect, like how you think, how your mindset is, that can change your whole game. And
वेरी नाइस एग्जाम्पल पुट अप वेदा, थैंक यू। ओके, आगे देखते हैं चैप्टर में क्या हो रहा है। बिल्कुल, यह एक पुराना बल्ला है, लेकिन अभी तक इसने अपने किसी भी जादू को नहीं खोया है। अब जैसे आप लोग कह रहे हैं कि कॉन्फिडेंस है, प्लेसबो इफेक्ट है, एंड बच्चों ने प्रैक्टिस करी होगी उसके बाद ही ये कर पा रहे हैं, तो यहाँ पे जो स्टोर कीपर है वो क्यों बताना चाह रहा है, वो क्यों ये दिमाग में डालना चाह रहा है कि मिरेकल्स हैपन होता है, एंड क्योंकि वो बैट है इसके कारण वो नेक्स्ट गेम भी खेलेगा, अच्छा नंबर भी लाए, मतलब क्रिकेट के स्कोर्स भी लाएगा और आगे भी बढ़ेगा, और वो अपनी टीम से बाहर भी नहीं निकलेगा। ऐसा वो क्यों बता रहे हैं?
ताकि वो
मैम को ऐसा इसलिए बता रहे ताकि उसके माइंड में फिट जाए अच्छा प्रैक्टिस
मैम
और
उसको
अच्छा स्कोर कर
हौसला
सकता
बढ़ाने
वन
के
एट ए
लिए।
टाइम, वन एट ए टाइम।
मैम हौसला बढ़ाने के लिए।
वेरी गुड, कॉन्फिडेंस के लिए, मोटिवेट करने के लिए।
मैम फॉर मोटिवेशन, टू
वेरी
मोटिवेट
गुड।
देम।
आखिर आप क्या कहना चाह रहे हैं? तलत,
मैम
वेरी
वो
गुड।
मोटिवेट कर सकते हैं ताकि मैं वो अगले मैच में अच्छा करे स्कोर।
वेरी गुड।
वो उसके माइंड में फिट कर रहे हैं कि एक अच्छा बैट है जिससे वो प्रैक्टिस करे और अच्छा बन सके।
वेरी गुड, क्योंकि वो डिसहार्टन था, थोड़ा लो फील कर रहा था, तो उसे मोटिवेशन की थोड़ी जरूरत थी। इसके लिए वो मोटिवेट करने के लिए उसे ऐसा कुछ कह रहे थे कि जो उसे लगे कि यस मिरेकल हो सकता है। थैंक यू।
मैम
हाँ जी अभिमन्यु।
मैम हो सकता है कि उस बैट से वो अच्छा खेल पाए, मतलब वो उसी बैट से प्रैक्टिस कर रहा हो, दूसरे बैट से ना खेल पाए।
ठीक है, देखते हैं आगे क्या होता है। थैंक यू। बिल्कुल, ये एक पुराना बल्ला है, लेकिन अभी तक इसने अपने किसी भी जादू को नहीं खोया है। मिस्टर कुमार ने अपनी सास को हासिल करने के लिए कुछ पल रुकते हुए कहा। उन्होंने बल्ला रंजी को थमा दिया। इसे रखो, मैं इस बल्ले को तुम्हारी बाकी के बचे हुए क्रिकेट सीजन के लिए देता हूं। मेरा दावा है कि तुम इस बल्ले के साथ खेलकर असफल नहीं होगे। रंजी ने बल्ले को हाथ में लेकर आश्चर्य और आनंद विभोर के साथ देखा। फिर उसने पूछा, क्या सचमुच ये वही बल्ला है जिससे आपने शतक जड़ा था? मिस्टर कुमार ने जवाब में कहा, बिल्कुल, और हो सकता है कि तुम इस बल्ले से तुम भी शतक बनाओ। उसके बाद शनिवार के मैच के लिए वह बेचैनी के साथ हफ्ते भर इंतजार करता रहा। उस दिन उसने स्कूल का मैच एक ज्यादा मजबूत टीम जो कि दूसरे शहर की थी के साथ खेला। उस पूरे हफ्ते मेरे पास बहुत से क्लास का काम था, इस कारण से रंजी को दूसरे बच्चों के साथ अभ्यास करने का मौका ही नहीं मिला। चूंकि रंजी को न तो कोई भाई और बहन था, इसलिए उसने अपने बगल के घर में रहने वाले लड़की कोकी से बगीचे में उसे गेंद फेंक करके प्रैक्टिस कराने के लिए कहा। कोकी ने बहुत अच्छी गेंदबाजी की, पर रंजी गेंद को जोर से मारना पसंद करता था ताकि उसे बल्ले की आदत बन जाए। ऐसा उसने उस लड़की को बताया। इस बीच बहुत जल्दी ही उस गेंद का बगीचे में इधर से उधर पीछा करते हुए कोकी पूरी तरीके से थक कर चूर हो गई। आखिरकार शनिवार आ ही गया। उस दिन मौसम क्रिकेट के बिल्कुल उपयुक्त था, यानी कि मौसम बिल्कुल साफ था और धूप खिली खिली हुई थी। सूरज स्कूल के लिए टॉस जीता और बल्लेबाजी करने का फैसला किया। पहले क्रिकेट की साझेदारी में 30 रन जोड़े गए। आगंतुक तेज गेंदबाज ज्यादा कुछ नहीं कर सके, लेकिन फिर की गेंदबाज के आने के तुरंत बाद ही खेल एकदम बदल गया। 2 क्रिकेट एक ओवर में गिर गया और अब स्कोर 2 विकेट खोने के बाद 33 रन हो गया। सूरज ने थोड़े से तेज रन बनाए, लेकिन वह फिर भी गेंदबाज के चुंगल में फंसकर विकेट कीपर को कैच को लेकर अपने क्रिकेट के विकेट को गवा बैठा। अगला बल्लेबाज भी ज्यादा देर तक नहीं टिक सका और बोल्ड हो गया। अब रणजी के मैदान में उतरने की बारी आई तो स्कोर 4 विकेट खोकर 46 रन था। वह आहिस्ता आहिस्ता चलते हुए विकेट पे पहुंचा। फील्डरों ने उसे घेर लिया। उसने गार्ड लिया और पहली गेंद का सामना करने के लिए तैयार हो गया। गेंदबाज ने छोटी सी चहलकदमी की और फिर गेंद रंजी की तरफ घूमती हुई आने लगी। और जब वह अपने स्ट्रोक को खेलने के लिए उसकी तरफ झुका तो ऐसा लगा मानो गेंद फिरकी लेते हुए उसके बल्ले से दूर हो जाएगी। और तभी उस वक्त जब गेंद ने लचकदार विलो के बल्ले के साथ मुलाकात की, तब रंजी के हाथ में रोमांच दौड़ आया। खटाक! गेंद मजबूती के साथ रंजी के बैट के पीछे पर आकर लगी और फिर बेचारे गेंदबाज के बगल से तेजी से निकलते हुए बाउंड्री को पार करके 4 रन खेली। गेंद की इस दुर्गति को देखकर गेंदबाज नाराज हो गया और फिर नतीजा यह हुआ कि उसने अगली गेंद एक लूज फुल टॉस डाल दी। रंजी ने फौरन इस खराब गेंद का फायदा उठाया और ऑन साइड की तरफ घुमाकर एक और चौका मार दिया। और यह तो अभी शुरुआत थी। और उसके बाद तो रणजी को जीतने के लिए स्ट्रोक खेलने आते थे, जैसे कि लेट कट, स्क्वायर कट, स्ट्रेट ड्राइव, ऑन ड्राइव और ऑफ ड्राइव इत्यादि सभी खेलते हुए शुरू कर दिए। प्रतिद्वंदी टीम के कप्तान ने अपनी सभी स्पिन और तेज गेंदबाज को आजमाया, लेकिन उनमें से कोई भी रणजी को आउट नहीं कर सका। इसके उलट उसके फील्डरों को मैदान में सभी कोनों में खूब दौड़ाया। एक दिन के खाने के वक्त उसका व्यक्तिगत स्कोर 40 हो चुका था। और दिन के खाने के 20 मिनट बाद जब सूरज ने इनिंग समाप्ति की घोषणा की तो रणजी 58 रन बनाकर क्रीज पर डटा हुआ था। प्रतिद्वंदी टीम बहुत कम स्कोर पर आउट हो गई और इस तरह से रणजी ने स्कूल के मैच को जीत लिया था। सो यहाँ मैं पूछना चाहूंगी कि बैट एक्चुअली मिरेकल वाला था?
नो मैम।
तो क्या हुआ फिर?
माइंड में मेहनत थी।
Ma'am, he was very confident.
मैम
मैम
वो उसकी मेहनत थी, उससे
मैम वो
वो
मैम
बहुत
बहुत
मोटिवेट
कॉन्फिडेंस
हुआ।
कॉन्फिडेंट था, तो मैम इसके वजह से मैम वो मैच जीता पाया अपनी टीम को।
वो कॉन्फिडेंट था,
मैम
उसको
वो
मोटिवेशन मिला हुआ था। और क्या था वो?
मैम जब उसके माइंड में फिट हो गया था कि मैम ये एक मैजिकल बैट है, और उससे वो बहुत कॉन्फिडेंट हो गया था।
He was very planned and he know what to do. Um, what to do.
साशका की तरह वो प्लानिंग के साथ आया था और कॉन्फिडेंस भी उसके साथ हो गया था। जुगजीत सर, आप क्या कहना चाहेंगे यहाँ पे?
Raji, a lot of it is in the mind, right? Obviously, certain skill set has to be there, but in anything that you do, the mental makeup makes a big difference. So I think uh, people have broadly, I agree with most people what they're saying. Confidence was the thing, and obviously, certain skill set was there. Somebody said in chat, hard work, all that stuff, improved the skill set, but matlab, when he was not doing well, he got that support, right? That makes a big difference. When you're down, to get that support and just the faith in your own abilities, confidence in yourself, becomes very, very important. So, yeah.
तो जैसे कि पंचकोश में कहा गया है कि हर कोश में आपके बॉडी को रेगुलेट करने के लिए बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है। अगर कोश इज जस्ट लाइक अ गोल्डन पाइप, तो पंचकोश में कोई भी एक कोश अगर बंद हो जाता है तो नेचुरली आपको फिजिकल फीचर में कुछ ना कुछ प्रॉब्लम तो होगी। सो एवरीथिंग इज रिक्वायर्ड टू बी हेल्पफुल टू यू, एंड द बिगेस्ट थिंग इज द पावर ऑफ योर ओन माइंड। अगर आप हमेशा नेगेटिव सोचते रहेंगे तो नेगेटिविटी इज गोइंग टू कम अराउंड यू, बट हियर अगर आप पॉजिटिव सोचेंगे और आप अपने ऊपर फेथफुल रहे, आप अपने ऊपर ट्रस्ट करेंगे, एंड तो नेचुरली कॉन्फिडेंस आपके ऊपर रहेगा। सो इंस्टेड ऑफ सेइंग आई कैन नॉट डू दिस, से आई एम गोइंग टू डू दिस एंड आई कैन डू दिस। सो
And as you
कैनॉट की
said,
जगह कैन को
yeah,
आप करिए तो नेचुरली द लाइफ इज गोइंग टू बी वंडरफुल फॉर यू एंड एवरीथिंग इज गोइंग टू बी अ कप ऑफ टी एंड यू आर रियली गोइंग टू एंजॉय। तो यही कॉन्फिडेंस एंड मोटिवेशन क्योंकि रंजी को मिला तो स्किल सेट तो उसके पास पहले से ही था, बट कॉन्फिडेंस लो होने के कारण उसकी बॉडी उसके अगेंस्ट वर्क कर रही थी। वो एकदम से कैप्चर नहीं कर पा रहा था कि कौन से बॉल को कैसे खेलना है, कौन से बॉल के साथ मूव करना है, कौन से को लाइट मारना है या कौन से को स्क्वायर कट करना है. सी आई डोंट नो मच अबाउट क्रिकेट, बट एज पर द स्टोरी.
No, no, that's right, ma'am. And as you said, it's planning because wickets play differently, so you have to think through, what shots are okay, what shots are not okay, right? Some wicket, so it varies, right? You go to Australia, the wickets are bouncing, people who play square of the wicket do really well. So it just depends where you are, right? In England, you have to negate the swing. So the conditions make a big difference. So आपको planning is also important besides the other points that you made. So yeah, and you have to sort of see the circumstances and then act.
एंड प्लानिंग के लिए यू हैव टू बी नॉट स्ट्रेस्ड. आप स्ट्रेस फ्री रहिए, एंड स्ट्रेस फ्री होके आपका माइंड चूंकि कूल रहता है तो आप बेटर डिसीजन ले सकते हो. यू बी अ बेटर डिसीजन मेकर. ओके, आगे देखते हैं चैप्टर में. घर वापस जाते हुए रज्जी मिस्टर कुमार की दुकान पर रुका ताकि वह उन्हें अच्छी खबर सुना सके. उसने कहा, हम जीत गए और मैंने आज तक का अपना सबसे उच्चतम स्कोर यानी कि 58 रन बनाए हैं. सचमुच में ये एक लकी बात है. मिस्टर कुमार ने रंजी को गर्म जोशी के साथ हाथ मिलाते हुए कहा, मैंने तो तुम्हें पहले ही बताया था, अभी तुम इस बल्ले से और भी बड़े स्कोर करने वाले हो. रंजी उत्साह के साथ अपने घर गया. वह इतना खुश था कि वह जुम्मा की मिठाई की दुकान पर रुका और कोकी के लिए 2 लड्डू वहां से खरीदे. वह लड्डू के लिए पागल हो जाती थी. मिस्टर ठीक कह रहे थे. अभी रणजी को उस बैट के साथ तो सफलता की शुरुआत ही हुई थी. अगले मैच में उसने 40 रन बनाए और उस वक्त आउट हुआ जब लापरवाही से अपने आप को विकेट कीपर के हाथों स्टैंपिंग करा बैठा. उसके बाद अगला मैच जो कि 2 दिवसीय था, उसने रणजी तीसरे नंबर पर आया और 45 रन बनाए. कैच आउट होने से पहले उसने गेंद को सीमा रेखा से बाहर पहुंचाने की झड़ी लगा दी थी. दूसरी इनिंग में जब वो स्कूल को जीत के साथ 6 रन की जरूरत थी, तब रणजी 25 रन बनाकर खेल रहा था. सभी लोग यानी कि उसके कोच, टीम का कप्तान सूरज और मिस्टर कुमार सभी उससे बहुत खुश थे. लेकिन मिस्टर कुमार को ही पता था कि वह सब कुछ उस लकी बैट से ही संभव हो पाया. यह राज रणजी और मिस्टर कुमार के बीच ही दफन था. एक शाम जब मैदान में अनौपचारिक मैच खेला जा रहा था, रणजी का दोस्त भीम गेंद का पीछा करने के दौरान फिसल गया और एक तीखे पत्थर से उसका हाथ कट गया. रणजी तुरंत उसे घंटा भर के पास के एक डॉक्टर के पास ले गया, जहां पर उसने जख्म को साफ करने के लिए पट्टी करवाई. चूंकि जब वह अंधेरा हो चला था, इसलिए रणजी ने सीधे अपने घर जाने का निर्णय लिया. ज्यादातर वह पैदल ही जाया करता था, पर उस शाम उसने घंटा घर के पास से ही बस पकड़ी और घर की ओर रवाना हो गया. जब वह घर पहुंचा तो उसकी माँ उसके लिए एक प्याला चाय कल लेकर आई, और जब वह चाय पी रहा था तभी कोकी कमरे में दाखिल हुई और पहली चीज जिसके बारे में जानना चाहा वह यह था कि रंजी का बल्ला कहाँ है. इस सवाल से रंजी की मुंह पर चाय का घूंट लगभग निकल ही गया. उसने कहा, ओह, शायद उस वक्त जब भीम को चोट लगी तो मैंने बल्ले को मैदान में ही छोड़ दिया था. मुझे तुरंत मैदान जाकर उस बल्ले को लेकर आना चाहिए, अन्यथा वह वहां से गायब हो जाएगा. माँ ने कहा, तुम उसे कल भी तो ला सकते हो क्योंकि इस वक्त अंधेरा हो चला है. रंजी ने कहा, मैं टॉर्च लेकर आता हूँ. निश्चित रूप से वह अपने बैट को लेकर परेशान था. उसे लगता था बिना उस बल्ले से उसका भाग्य आज उसके साथ धोखा दे देगा. उस वक्त उसके पास बस एक इंतजार का ही संयम नहीं था और बिना इंतजार किए मैदान की तरफ दौड़ने लगा. जब आपकी कोई प्यारी चीज या जिसको आप अपना लकी सामान समझते हैं वो खो जाती है या मिसप्लेस हो जाती है, तो आपको कैसा लगता है?
मैम सैड सा फील होता है.
ओके. और कोई बताना चाहेगा कैसा फील होता है? यस युवराज।
आप म्यूट पे हो युवराज। हाँ ठीक है।
सर वो अनकॉन्फिडेंस फील करता है।
ओके ओके।
अबे मेरे पास म्यूट अनम्यूट का ऑप्शन आ गया।
उस वक्त उसके पास बस का इंतजार करने का भी संयम नहीं था और बिना इंतजार किए वो मैदान की तरफ दौड़ने लगा। जब वो मैदान में पहुंचा तो मैदान वीरान पड़ा था और उसे कहीं भी बल्ले की कोई झलक नहीं दिखाई दे रही थी। और तभी रंजी को ख्याल आया कि उसने भीम को अलविदा कहने के बाद जब वह बस में चढ़ा तो उस वक्त बल्ला उसके हाथ में था। शायद उसने बल्ले को बस में ही छोड़ दिया था। ओह, अब तो वह उसे वापस कभी नहीं मिलने वाला। बल्ला हमेशा के लिए खो गया। और अब आने वाले शनिवार को रणजी का स्कूल दिल्ली के पब्लिक स्कूल के खिलाफ अपना इस क्रिकेट सीजन का अंतिम और सबसे महत्वपूर्ण मैच खेलने वाला है। अगले Yeah, I'm sorry for this. I'll just continue now.
आवाज नहीं आ रही मनीषा मैम, मेरे को तो नहीं आ रही।
Sir, just 1 minute. I'm sorry, my just throat got choked.
हाँ नो प्रॉब्लम नो प्रॉब्लम। साउथ अफ्रीका के तो काफी रन बन रहे हैं। Just
ठीक
saw
है।
a little while back some more than 300 they had already scored.
अगले दिन वह मिस्टर कुमार की दुकान पर पहुंचा, जहां पर वह अपने आप में बहुत दुखी लग रहा था। मिस्टर कुमार ने पूछा, क्या बात है? रंजी ने कहा, मैंने आपकी लकी बैट को खो दिया है। वही बल्ला जिससे मैंने इतने सारे रन बनाए थे। मैंने उसे बस में छोड़ दिया और अब हमें परसों दिल्ली स्कूल के साथ खेलना है और हो ना हो मैं जीरो पर आउट हो जाएगा और फिर क्या है, हम स्कूल चैंपियन बनने से रह जाएंगे। रणजी की बात सुनकर पहले तो मिस्टर कुमार थोड़ा परेशान दिखाई दिए, लेकिन फिर उन्होंने मुस्कुराते हुए कहा, तुम अभी भी जितना रन बनाना चाहते हो बना सकते हो। रणजी ने कहा, लेकिन अब तो मेरे पास बैट नहीं है। कुमार बोले, कोई भी बल्ला चलेगा। आप क्या कहना चाहते हैं? मेरा मतलब है कि बल्लेबाज महत्वपूर्ण है, न कि बल्ला। तो अब यहाँ पे एक सीक्रेट आगे बताना चाह रहे हैं। क्या मैं तुमको कुछ बता सकता हूँ? जो पुराना बल्ला जिसे मैंने तुम्हें दिया था, दरअसल जिन बल्लों को मैंने इस्तेमाल किया था उसमें कोई अलग नहीं था। यह सच है कि मैंने उस बल्ले से बहुत सारे रन बनाए थे, लेकिन मैंने दूसरे बल्लों का भी उतना ही इस्तेमाल किया था। बल्ला तब तक ही जादुई होता है जब हम उस बल्ले के साथ खेलने वाला बल्लेबाज की बल्लेबाजी से जादू होता है या फिर हम उससे इम्प्रेस्ड होते हैं। तुम्हें दरअसल विश्वास की जरूरत थी, न कि किसी बल्ले की, और तुमने बल्ले पर विश्वास करके अपने खोए हुए विश्वास को पुनः अर्जित कर दिया। विश्वास में आपका क्या मतलब है? रंजी ने पूछा। यह शब्द उसके लिए एक नया शब्द था। विश्वास। मिस्टर कुमार ने धीरे धीरे बोलना शुरू किया। विश्वास को यकीन है कि तुम अच्छा खेल सकते हो और मैं बल्ले के बगैर और भी उतना अच्छा खेल सकता हूँ। यकीनन तुम हमेशा ही अच्छे रहे, अभी भी तुम अच्छा खेल सकते हो। तुम परसों भी उतने ही अच्छे रहोगे। उसे याद करो, और यदि तुम इसे याद रखते हो तो यकीनन और बहुत अच्छे से रन बना पाओगे। अगले शनिवार को रंजी भीम से बैट लेकर क्रीज पर उतरा। जब रंजी क्रीज पर उतरा तो स्कूल 2 रन पर अपना पहला विकेट खो चुका था। उस वक्त दिल्ली स्कूल के बच्चों ने शुरुआती गेंदबाजी बहुत तेज कर रहे थे। रंजी ने उन गेंदबाजों का सामना किया। रणजी के द्वारा सामना की गई पहली गेंद बहुत ही तेज थी, गुड लेंथ पर नहीं थी। इसका फायदा उठाकर रणजी ने तेजी के साथ पिछले कदम पर आकर उस गेंद को जोर से ऑन साइड की बाउंड्री की तरफ पुल कर दिया। गेंद फील्डर के सिर के ऊपर से निकलती हुई सीमा रेखा के बाहर रखे कोल्ड ड्रिंक बोतल के क्रेट में घुस गई। छक्का! सभी दर्शक खड़े हो गए और रणजी को बधाई दी। और यह तो अभी रणजी की शानदार बल्लेबाजी का आगाज था। यह मैच अंततः ड्रॉ हो गया, लेकिन रणजी द्वारा बनाए 75 रन स्कूल में कहे जाने वाले महत्वपूर्ण किस्सा बन गया। घर वापस जाते हुए रणजी ने 1 दर्जन लड्डू खरीदे, उसमें से 6 कोकी के लिए और 6 मिस्टर कुमार के लिए। तो यहाँ पे ये स्टोरी खत्म होती है। क्या सीखा हमने आज इस स्टोरी से?
For doing anything, only just a little bit confident is needed.
Whatever you want to do, just give your best. Yes, गरिमा, क्या कहना चाहेंगे आप?
From this story, I learned that being optimistic is the most important, and uh, and we don't want something lucky or good. Uh, it's just we should practice and work for that, and
Very
just work on the guidance given by our elders and coaches and.
That's wonderful, very powerful thought. और कौन बोलना चाहेगा?
Ma'am, everything is dependent on self belief and self confidence.
मैम
जल्दी
सिर्फ
से आप
हमें
देख नहीं पा रहे
कॉन्फिडेंस मैम सिर्फ
बच्चों
हमें
के
कॉन्फिडेंस
रिफ्लेक्शन।
रहना चाहिए।
1 मिनट बेटा, हमारे बच्चों के रिफ्लेक्शंस कितने स्ट्रांग होते जा रहे हैं। इनके आइडियाज, उनकी अंडरस्टैंडिंग काफी चेंज हो गई है। यस,
Anji,
क्या कह रहे
bilkul.
हैं?
Children are smarter today than they were when we were kids. So
Exactly. And I really love the way they all are talking, they are expressing themselves is wonderful. और कोई कुछ कहना चाहेगा? क्या सीखा हमने इस चैप्टर से?
मैम आई थिंक आपने आज ये स्टोरी इसलिए सुनाई है क्योंकि मैं आज इंडिया में साउथ अफ्रीका का मैच आ रहा है।
यार रंजी रंजी की जरूरत है।
Ma'am, can I?
Yes, please.
Ma'am, from this story, we have learned that hard work and destiny both are important for our future.
Very good, Talat. Nice.
इससे ये भी है कि मैम कोई चीज
मैम
लकी नहीं होती, सिर्फ हमारे पास कॉन्फिडेंस होना चाहिए।
मैम
मेहनत
किसी
तो
को
करनी
हमारी
पड़ेगी।
हेल्प मैम हमें किसी को हमारी हेल्प चाहिए तो उनको हेल्प करना चाहिए और काइंडनेस एम्पैथी दिखाना चाहिए।
That is nice. Very good.
Ma'am, your
क्या empathy
confidence
और
is itself a miracle.
very good.
मैम
आप kindness and
आपकी
बेटा
कॉन्फिडेंस
one at a time, one at a time. काइंडनेस एम्पैथी आप दिखा रहे हैं, उसके बारे में बात कर रहे हैं। इट इज रियली वंडरफुल एंड वेरी, योर थॉट्स आर वेरी गुड। हाँ जी, आकृत क्या कहना चाह रहे हैं?
मैम अगर हम अपने आप पे कॉन्फिडेंस रखेंगे तो मैम हम कुछ भी जीत सकते हैं और हम मेहनत भी करेंगे तो।
वेरी गुड। युवराज, लास्ट reflection from you.
Ma'am, like luck didn't exist at all. Everything is based on our skills and our little bit of confidence, and help of the skills and confidence we can achieve any goal.
Very good. So with this, your powerful thoughts and जो भी आज हमने डिस्कस किया है, I'll request everyone to write your reflection and send it back to me through your mentors, your coordinators, or you can directly also send it to me on my email ID or WhatsApp. The numbers are there. Jugji sir, do you want to say something?
no, we had a very good session today. I love this thing. Also topical, as somebody said, because the cricket test match is going on. And but I think the point around self-confidence and confidence, everybody has sort of picked up, which is the most important thing, even in our lives. Get confident is really, really important, and whatever we do, it will help us. So I'm glad people picked it up, and it's fantastic.
नाइस रीना मैम आप कुछ कहना चाहेंगे? I think she left. No problem. Okay, with this, I end today's session. Thank you everyone for joining. Let's meet
Thank you,
the
ma'am.
next time, next
Okay,
week.
thank
Thank you, ma'am.
you.
Bye,
Bye.
ma'am.
Take care.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye.
ma'am. Bye, ma'am. Thank you. Bye, ma'am. Bye, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am. Bye.
No, 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 no.